First at 5. From the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
Welcome to WUFT News First at 5. I'm Amy Galo.
And I'm Isabella Leandri. Thanks for joining us.
After 3 students were shot and killed, 2 others wounded, and a lockdown overnight with students huddled in libraries, classrooms, and dorms, police say they've captured a suspect after a killing spree at the University of Virginia. NBC's Jay Gray reports.
With police and federal agents engaged in a manhunt, and as the University of Virginia police chief calls on the public for help,
Pardon me.
Comes word of a capture.
We just received information the suspect is in custody.
The suspect, Christopher Darnell Jones Jr., a student and former football player at the university, accused of killing 3 current Virginia football players and wounding 2 other students on a bus as they returned to campus after a field trip to Washington, D.C.
This is an unimaginably sad day for our community. The entire university community is grieving.
The university acknowledges that in February, Jones was investigated after students said he talked about owning a gun. According to police, no one ever saw a weapon and no threats were made. He was also part of a hazing investigation, which was closed due to uncooperative witnesses. The university's threat assessment team has also learned of a criminal incident off campus involving a concealed weapon violation in another city in February of 2021. Jones now faces multiple charges, including 3 counts of murder. There's no clear indication of a motive in the killing spree, police continuing their investigation. Jay Gray, NBC News.
Our hearts are with the University of Virginia, as well as the students at UF with personal connections to the school. WUFT's own Emily Palizzotto checked in with her brother, a freshman at UVA, after a restless night locked down in his dorm.
Yes, definitely. It was around 10:30 last night that we received a series of emails that were very vague and unclear and really just invoked panic across myself and all my peers that I was with in my suite. I was home when I received this email, and we were told to barricade our doors. We were all sitting there together, making sure everyone was okay. And it's a parent's worst nightmare to hear that their child could be in danger.
The Moscow Police Department says 4 people were found dead Sunday afternoon in North Idaho. The University of Idaho has confirmed those 4 people were students at U of I. Police were responding to a call for an unconscious person around noon, just south of campus, when they found the 4 victims dead. The students' families have been notified and Moscow Police Department is investigating. MPD does not believe there is active threat to the community. Classes are canceled at the university today to honor the student victims. In some parts of Florida, damage assessments from Hurricane Nicole are outpacing Hurricane Ian. For Volusia County, that total is approaching $500 million. Amanda Dukes from West 2 News reports.
I'm in Wilbur by the sea, and behind me are some of the homes that suffered the most significant damage during Hurricane Nicole. The message from Volusia County officials today continues to be, stay away from these areas as material continues to tumble down onto the sand. Saturday night, days after Nicole's fury ate away much of the foundation from underneath these beachside homes, pieces of concrete block continued to break off and tumble down onto the shore, stunning people walking by.
It's surreal because growing up here, we've seen these houses along the shoreline for forever. And then coming back just to see it, it's just, you know what can happen.
Volusia County is asking residents to stay off the beaches, not only because of the danger from damaged structures, but also possible debris in the water. But curiosity continues to drive many to come out for a look. Stacy Goodwin just moved to Port Orange from New Jersey.
It's horrible, horrible. This is the 2nd storm in 6 weeks that I've endured, and I've never seen anything like this in New Jersey. We had Superstorm Sandy, which was horrific, but these poor people, it's just heartbreaking, and it's absolutely terrible.
The Volusia County property appraiser has submitted the initial damage assessment report for Nicole, and the numbers are astounding. The total dollar figure is $481 million. That eclipses Hurricane Ian's damage of $377 million. Daytona Beach shores suffered the most property damage with $370.3 million. New Smyrna was next at $51.1 million, followed by Daytona Beach at $50 million. For some of the storm victims, rebuilding will take years, if they rebuild at all, and that moved one onlooker to tears. Tell me where those tears come from.
It's just because, they work so hard for this, all their lives, and in a matter of a second, it's gone. It's gone. It's just so heartbreaking.
While Nicole brought rain and wind even to Gainesville, this weather over the weekend was much better.
Much better. But can we expect more sunshine this week? WFT's Daniella Rudolph joins us now with the first look at the weather forecast.
Thank you. So we are going to be seeing these really nice conditions for the rest of the week, but if you are looking for sunshine and rainbows, unfortunately it's not really going to be the case. Looking at our campus cam right now, we have a moderately warm temperature sitting at 68 degrees with that northeasterly wind moving in. It looks pretty clear right now, but it is going to be bringing in some clouds later on this evening. But let's take a look at our future radar for the rest of this evening. You can see that we do have some of these clouds moving in, and we can see along the coast that it is tickling with some potential for downpours and showers. But for the rest of this evening, as I said, it's looking really nice, going into the mid to low 50s and peaking again. Back to you.
It's been nearly 50 years since any person last touched the surface of the moon. As NASA prepares to give its Artemis program another attempt and make history, the broadcast itself will also make history. WFT's technology reporter Jacob Sedesse is here to tell you how a new innovation will take your watch party to the next level. Jacob?
Thanks, Amy. Yes, you might notice something different if you choose to watch the Artemis launch from your favorite screen. And it's not just the size of the rocket. It's actually the size of the video you'll be watching too. 4K is a buzzword that's thrown around a lot, but it means something very specific that will mean a lot to you. This upgrade at NASA was spearheaded by a UF alum who used to direct First at 5 right here at WUFT. Now she's a director at NASA TV. I spoke with her about how the upgrade came to be and how it feels to be in charge at a different kind of mission control.
3, 2, 1. Engine ignition. We have liftoff.
When the launch director calls go for launch on Artemis 1, all eyes will be on the rocket that's set to send humans back to the moon. But it's thanks to a different kind of director that we'll all be able to see it from home.
The building is going to be shaking. It's going to be so loud. The energy is going to be crazy. And during that time, I'm going to be punching through the different launch views and stuff like that so that people who don't have the opportunity to be here can experience it like we can.
That's Michelle Stone. She's a director at NASA TV, and she'll be behind the video switcher when the Space Launch System takes off. She also helped launch an important mission for the network, the upgrade to 4K.
We've been working very hard for about the past 5 years to get all of our engineering and equipment up to do 4K, and the days are finally coming where all that work is coming together.
So, what exactly is 4K? Well, you might have an HD TV at home. It's probably pretty crisp. Imagine this diagram represents your TV. Well, this is what 4K is in comparison. In her words,
it is going to look amazing. It is going to be the closest thing that you can get to seeing a launch without being here to actually see the launch.
She's nervous, but thinks it's a good thing.
If you were not nervous, then you don't care enough. I think being a little bit nervous means that you care about how the mission goes and how the show goes.
She credits her knowledge to the University of Florida.
I learned pretty much everything I know about directing from my time at WUFT. It was such a great experience.
Her colleagues call her the Gator Girl, and she'll be taking that with her when it's time to take flight. To watch the historic Artemis 1 launch in dazzling 4K, just start up NASA TV on YouTube. I'll also be there just steps away from the place where Michelle will be behind the board driving the show. As a director myself, I'll be crossing my fingers for her just as much as I am for the mission. That being said, if you prefer to watch on your local public media instead, I'll be in Cape Canaveral covering the historic launch for WUFT across all platforms. So stay tuned. That's all for now. Back to you, Amy.
2 state senators from our viewing area will be in leadership positions in the next legislative session. The incoming president sent out a memo today about her choices. Dennis Baxley, who now represents District 13, is a choice for President Pro Temp. Gainesville's Keith Perry is also on the leadership team, along with 4 others.
A piece of South Florida history goes away in dramatic fashion. The Deauville Beach Resort in Miami Beach was imploded yesterday after years of neglect. During its heyday in the 60s, it attracted celebrities ranging from the Beatles to President Kennedy. It's not clear what the future will bring for the beachfront property. Miami Dolphins owner Stephen Ross wants to build 2 giant hotel towers, but voters rejected a needed exemption from building size restrictions.
What was meant to be a fun afternoon at a Dallas air show this weekend ended in tragedy.
6 people are dead after 2 historic military planes collided midair. What caused the accident and who were the victims? We'll have more on WUFT News first at 5 after the break.
You're watching WUFT TV News.
Welcome back. More information continues to surface regarding the Texas air show tragedy that killed 6 people. The NTSB is investigating in the mid-air collision between the 2 World War II era planes. NBC's Morgan Chesky has the latest.
And we're learning more about that sudden and stunning collision that happened Saturday afternoon. 2 World War II era planes, a B-17 Flying Fortress and a P-63 King Cobra colliding, leaving 6 people dead here at Dallas Executive Airport. Now, over the weekend, federal investigators arrived, those with the NTSB spending hours scouring the crash site, which included part of the airfield, part of a highway that had to be shut down. Those agents trying to search for any clue, any bit of evidence that could lead to a potential cause. Organizers call this occurrence incredibly rare, saying this was a well-rehearsed air show that travels all over the country and world, putting on these displays to honor World War II history. On Saturday, we heard from those with the air show that said these planes are well maintained, these pilots incredibly well vetted, and that is why there are so many questions about what could have led this to take place. We do know that NTSB says it could take anywhere from 12 to 18 months before their final report is completed, but they have said a preliminary report should be happening in the next few weeks.
University of Florida students continue to unite against anti-Semitism as incidents and hate speech persist after the Florida-Georgia game. UF has the largest population of Jewish students of all public universities in the nation. In fact, 6,500 Jewish undergraduates make up 19% of the undergraduate population. Since October 29th, the Anti-Defamation League documented 25 anti-Semitic incidents. Over the last 6 years, anti-Semitic incidents more than doubled in the U.S., from 1,267 incidents in 2016 to 2,707 in 2021. UF organizations continue to show solidarity and host events combating hate. UF Hillel hosted a Chomp Hate Solidarity tailgate Saturday before the final home game.
After a busy week in the weather department last week, it's nice to finally see some sunshine.
Not only that, but it was so much warmer today than it was yesterday. Will this warmth last?
Tomorrow will be the warmest day of the next 6. I'll detail just how warm we'll get and how far temperatures plunge later this week after the break.
You're watching WUFT TV News.
So in our current radar, you can see that we do have this relatively strong high pressure system moving in from Texas into the Gulf of Mexico. It could be bringing some heavy rain and showers into North and Central Florida's regions. However, if you are located in the Panhandle, please do keep in mind that we are having this severe risk for damaging wind and isolated tornadoes. However, in Central and North Florida, we should be good for the remainder of the day. Back to our campus cam. As you can see, skies are clearing, but if you're looking forward to those sunshine and rainbows for the rest of the week, unfortunately that's not really going to be the case. On a warmer note, however, temperatures are warmer than they were yesterday. Gainesville sitting at 9 degrees higher. In the north, we have a moderate 4 to 7 degree jump, but look at these jumps down here in the south. 11 to 13 degrees in the south, which is really, really great, really warm if you love the warm temperature. The temperatures as of right now, we have 69 in Gainesville, 65 Lake City, and 73 in Ocala. If you're heading out tonight, the temperatures are going to be cool and skies are going to mostly be cloudy, so I do suggest that you take a light jacket on the way out if you are hitting the town. For the future fog radar, if you are hitting the town later into the evening after the dinner hour, we are seeing this patchy fog. It could be persistent into the breakfast hour tomorrow morning, so just keep an eye out for that in terms of visibility if you are traveling. For the rest of the day, however, we're waking up to that crisp 60 degrees, peaking into the 80s at 2 p.m., but then declining into the afternoon for a cooler evening again, similar to today. We do have this cold front moving in with that low pressure system that could be bringing some isolated showers over into North and Central Florida. But other than that, we are looking absolutely beautiful. We do have that patchy fog, some winds, and the potential for showers. But other than that, we are doing really, really great. Back to you.
Florida football got a big win this weekend against South Carolina.
That's right, and with bowl eligibility secured, the Gators will now look to guarantee a winning record. Coming up in sports, WFT's Chris Will has more on the Gators' next opponent and why it may not be as easy as many expect. We'll be right back.
You're watching WUFT TV News.
Welcome to sports. I'm Chris Will. Florida football has officially secured bowl eligibility after a big win over South Carolina on Saturday. It was a successful senior day for the Gators as they got things going and got them going quite early. True freshman Trevor Etienne sprung loose for an 85-yard touchdown that capped a 21-point first quarter for the Gators. Florida kept that momentum going all the way to the end as they got the 31-6 win over the Gamecocks. With their 6th win on the year, the Gators now look ahead to a trip to Vanderbilt on Saturday. And with the Commodores' upset win over the ranked Kentucky Wildcats, Florida head coach Billy Napier says this won't be an easy game.
They've got some young players that continue to get better, got their first SEC win in a while, and there's some momentum that we'll have to deal with that goes with that. So tough place to play, a lot of challenges when it comes to going on the road here to win a game. So.
Kickoff in Nashville is set for noon. A win would guarantee the Gators an above 500 season in the first year under Billy Napier. Florida men's basketball is back in action tonight as they look to continue their undefeated start to the season against FAU, a team coached by Dusty May, a former Florida assistant under Mike White, and the father of Florida walk-on Jack May. Through the first 2 games of the season, fifth-year forward Colin Castleton is averaging 23 points per game. His 33 points and 9 rebounds against Kennesaw State saw the Gators lead in both categories. After the 88-78 win over the Owls, Florida now looks to open the season at 3-0 when they host the FAU Owls in the O-Dome tonight, with tip-off scheduled for 7 p.m. Now let's give a huge shout out to Santa Fe High School Volleyball. They went and won their 2nd straight state title this weekend against Academy of the Holy Names, 3-1. We got to give a huge shout out, huge congratulations to Santa Fe.
They beat my alma mater, but still, that's awesome.
My alma mater didn't even get to compete, but we really do need to congratulate these teams. They're doing a great job.
Yeah.
Steve Jobs left a legacy on the world of tech when he passed away in 2011, but he also left a pair of Birkenstocks, which just sold for $218,000. That's a record for the highest price ever paid for a pair of sandals at an auction, according to Julian's Auctions. The Birkenstocks were a wardrobe staple for Jobs in the 70s and 80s. They were saved from the trash by his former house manager. Prior to the sale, the auction house described the shoes as well used but still intact with the imprint of Jobs' feet. Jobs died from complications from pancreatic cancer in 2011. I'll know I've made it if someone buys my old Birkenstocks at an auction one day.
Don't worry, I'll buy your Birkenstocks one day. But I really think it's a little bit too cold to be wearing them right now. Let's check in with Daniella one more time to see how long this weather will stick around.
So you ladies are actually correct. If you take a look at our low temperatures For tomorrow, Gainesville starting off at 58, cooler up into the north with 55 in Lake City and 63 in the Villages. Let's take a look at our 6-day outlook. There's that big plummet I was speaking about, going from the 80s all the way down into the mid to high 60s in Thursday and Friday. Warming up, but not that much for your weekend.
Thanks, Daniella. BBC World News is next, and the PBS NewsHour is up at 7.
But your Florida news is always on at WUFT.org. Have a good night.